Hello YouTube and welcome to the first official episode of Chef Lethal Plays Path of Exile slow walkthrough series. I'm your host Chef Lethal. If you watched episode 0, you'll kind of know what to expect, and I'm hoping that if you haven't watched episode 0, you'll go back and do it so you have a better idea of what in the world we are doing here today. Alright, we're going to get right into the game. I'm going to assume you have an account with Path of Exile, as I do here, and I'm going to log in. Ignore these 3 characters that we have here. This is just because I have played the game before on this account that I have these old, very old characters. We're going to ignore that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit create, and we're going to create our new person. I mentioned this in episode 0, but we're going to be playing in standard mode. If you're curious, Ancestor is the current league that exists in Path of Exile in November 2023. Path of Exile goes through leagues. It's like a three or 4 month special thing that they do to introduce new game mechanics and kind of keep things fresh for the community. And standard is the default game mode, where after those leagues end, all of characters get converted to standard mode, and it doesn't ever end. So it's a great place to just kind of play around and not have to worry about your character getting essentially deleted at the end of 3 months. So I clicked on standard and I hit OK. Now we get to pick our character class. Now I mentioned in the previous episode that we're going to be doing a Righteous Fire Juggernaut. So we can look at our characters here, and we've got this guy. Oh, he looks kind of beefy. Oh,
soul to serve God and the Order of the Templar.
this is a Templar.
For years you built a life upon faith, only to smite it asunder with one.
Okay, that's really loud. I'm gonna skip all of that and just show you. We need to pick this guy.
Do you think you are savage enough to face the land of the damned, Marauder? We offered you truth, yet still you clasped your superstitious lies. We offered you service, yet you wasted your strength in defiance. Rakelast offers you something else. An education in true savagery.
All right, so that is the voice of Dominus. You don't need to know that, but that's something I wanted to tell you. So I know I said we're playing a Juggernaut, but Chef, this says Marauder. I know what it says. Trust me. That's an in-game mechanic we'll talk about when we get there. Just pick Marauder, darn it. And now you get to pick a name. I'm going to call this Chef Lethal Let's Play and see if it'll let me do that. Chef Lethal Let's Play and hit OK. It works. We're going to be transported to the Twilight Strand. Don't ever tell anybody your password either. It's bad news. Okay. I'm not going to skip all tutorials. What I am going to do is click on my menu and go to Option. There's a couple things that I want to make sure are set first. And let's see. Obviously, if you have performance issues, you can change any of your graphics. I've got a pretty decent computer, so I'm not going to be doing any of that. Big ones are in game. So if you were with me in the last episode, which of course you should have been, I created a Let's Play filter. So you definitely want this item filter that we created, or whatever item filter you create yourself. But this is the item filter that I created for us, so we're going to do that. I'm going to make sure that hide filtered ground items is checked, otherwise our screen will be inundated with things. I think all of the rest of this is fine the way that it is. I'm going to go to UI. And I like quest tracking. I don't necessarily need to see the clock, so if you want to, it shows up here, but I'm going to not do that. Let's see. Mouse wheel zoom. Yes, I like that. Hide login email. That's just for my own purposes since I'm recording this. For your landscape transparency, this has to do with when you hit tab, it's the default key to get your mini map here. You can change the transparency here. I like it to be fully on the bottom. And then map transparency is where, you know, how transparent the actual mini map is when you're looking at it. I often just play with the mini map on, and you'll see that as we go along. So I like to have the hard outline so I can kind of focus on where in the world I'm walking. And then map zoom is your own preference. Do you want it super big? Do you want it tiny? I liked it right about there, I think. Ally names on my map. Yep. Okay, all of this is good. Any of the rest of this is kind of up to you. Always show sockets. You absolutely want to make sure that is checked. You can change the way they look. I like the default look. Show full descriptions. You're definitely going to want that. Support gem utility pop-ups. Absolutely, you want that. Show life and mana levels. That just gives you the text here of your life and mana. I like to have that. You don't have to have that. Hide life or mana reservation. You don't want to do that. Show flask buffs. Yeah, no, you don't necessarily need to do that. This will create icons at the top if you do this. If you have a lot of auras and flask effects and stuff, it'll show up at top. It could really get kind of cloudy up there. It just depends on what build you're using. You may or may not want to do that. I do like having life bars on my allies and enemies. Some people like to have mini bar above themselves. I'm not going to do that. And monster resistances, we're gonna keep that as well. You can change your cursor if you need to. I may end up doing this because sometimes the white cursor gets lost. Obviously the size, and you can manipulate your chat here. Sound is completely up to you. This is just what I have, and yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about changing anything there. Input, very important. Check your keybinds because you're going to be using them a lot. So by default, 1 through 5 are your flasks. 6 and 7 are temp bound skill. I don't use that, so I don't know. Your left, and then we have all these skills down here that we can use, okay? And then these are bound differently from how you do them, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that right now before we even start the game, because this is important. Down here in the bottom right, we have these little slots here. All these sockets represent skills that we can fill to use. And by default, left click is your default attack. And then depending on your keybinds, depends on all of your other keys here. So I think this one is right click or middle click. If I see here, yeah, it's got to be right click. The right click is here, and then for me, this option here is my mouse 4 button, which honestly I don't even know which one that is without clicking it. And then Q, W, E, R, and then my mouse 5 button. This is all personal preference for me. And then you can hold control, and you get another 5 skills here that you can assign, okay? And so what I like to do is when we get later in the game, we'll have permanent auras that we can cast and kind of give us buffs to life or damage or defenses, but you don't need to have them on your main bar like this, because on this main bar is where I want to have my attacking skills and things I need to use in the moment, you know? So I hit control, and you can see I have numpad 7, numpad 8, numpad 9, and numpad 6 because I don't need them all the time. I just need to like cast them once, and then they're set. So I have them like way off to the side. I don't even need to think about it. And you'll see that as we go along, as we get more skills. So that's the way I like it. That is not the default state, okay? Just so you know. If I hit control, I think by default where it says Q here, this is control Q, and that's kind of clunky to do. So personal preference, but that's just how I have it. Attack in place is shift. This is where you just attack and you're not moving. Weapon swap, you have your main set of weapons, and you have like an alternate set, and you can hit X to swap between the two. If you have a mine throwing build, you can hit D to detonate those. Alt will be used to show items on the ground that are hidden by the item filter. Toggle highlighting Z. This will see this guy, the Dying Exile. I hit Z, it will show his name. If I hit Z again, it doesn't show his name. I like to have that activated, but sometimes you need it to be deactivated. If I hit enter, I can check chat. I have a lot of chat disabled here because otherwise it will flood your side of your screen. This is completely up to you. If I click on global, it will start showing global chat. It can be rather trolly and kind of obnoxious, so don't do that. And then other keybinds here, you can absolutely just change this however you want. Obviously, change it as you go along, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Input and the notifications. I'm not even going to go through that. I'm going to hit save, and we are going to start playing this darn game. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to skip all tutorials. So we're laying here presently on the ground. This is us looking very snazzy, getting the water washed up on our junk. That's great. Some cool back tats. Yeah. So I'm just going to left click, and he starts to get up and cough. Right, obviously, the game wants us to pick up this driftwood club. And here we go. Now it wants us to talk to this Dying Exile. One thing I'm going to do, I have to explain this right away. I'm going to hit the I key to get my inventory open. We have 2 life flasks that will refill our health, and a mana flask that will refill our mana. Mana is used for skills and spells, and life is our life pool. I think most people are familiar with that. Unlike other games where your flasks or other healing items refill over time, the flasks in this game refill after killing monsters. So that is how it tells you refills as you kill monsters. So that's just something to keep in mind. The item that we picked up, the Driftwood Club, a one-handed mace item, and it's got these 2 red dots. Ooh, those are called sockets, and they have a line between them. So this item is a 2 red linked item. Two red socket linked item. That means that the skill type that it can use is a red strength-based skill type. Okay, that's what the red means. And you can have blue or green or white. But white is much later in the game that you'll start to see. But the red are strength-based items, skills that you use. And these can be swapped out at any time. So if I get a red skill and I plop it in there, and I get a better one later, I can take it out and put the new one in. No big deal. And those skills can be supported with enhancements, and that's what the link represents. So if we get a big bash skill here, we can plop it in that slot here, and then if we later pick up a support gem that says like your big bash does 300% more damage, we can plop it right here, and it will support directly the top gem. Now if this link wasn't there, that would not work. Okay, that's important to know. But anyway, here we are 13 minutes in. We haven't even started playing the game. Let's talk to this Dying Exile. We're going to skip all the exposition. And I just hit escape, and I'm going to step back, and I'm just going to start holding left click to wail on this guy. And we get Heavy Strike and Plate Chest. So I'm going to open up my inventory again. And this is a cool little tutorial that shows you exactly what to do. So I'm going to left click on Heavy Strike and plop it right into there. We got a nice armor piece here with a red socket in it. And now here's the thing. I'm going to show you the trick. I'm going to click on default skill, and I'm going to change it to move only. Move only. Okay, you don't want to have your default attack because it's bad. You'll get caught in a bad way if you have that. And then Heavy Strike is on mouse 4. I'm going to move that to my right click just because it's our only skill right now. So that's all. Now, Path of Exile is a game about speed. Right? So the idea normally would be to walk through this, run through to the end of this area as fast as possible. I'm not going to do that because I want to explain things. I want to show you what it's all about. Okay? So for those 2 monsters I just hit, I just walked up to them and was clicking right click a few times. And sometimes you're gonna miss because that's life. You know, sometimes you miss. And you can see I'm taking some damage. My mana is in a bad way. So I'm going to hit number 3 and refill some mana. And I'm just going to come over here. Now, you do not need to kill any of these monsters, as a matter of fact. You can run through, and in fact, one of the main ways to play this area, since it's the beginning of the game, is to run to the very end, not doing anything, and just beating up on the little area boss that we're going to run into. Spoiler alert, there's a little area boss. In fact, I'm going to skip these guys, and you can see this large chest here calling our name. It's just calling for us. It's just calling. And another thing you'll notice is that a lot of the moves that these enemies will throw at you, some of these attacks, they're pretty well telegraphed, so you can just step out of the way. Don't get hit by it. That's one of the biggest defense layers that you can have in this game, is just freaking move out of the way. So we got our first support gem, Ruthless Support, and we can see, I can't move my mouse up there, but in the top left, right next to where it says Ruthless Support, it says Supported Skills, and our Heavy Strike has a check mark next to it. The game is telling us that we can apply Ruthless Support to our Heavy Strike skill, and this tells you exactly what it needs to do. Supports melee strike. Every third time you use it, the skill is more powerful, and at level 1, which it is right now, it is 70% more melee damage, and sometimes these can get pretty complicated, but I'm going to put it right in here. Again, the game does this on purpose. It gives you the linked item. So, there you go. We now have a Heavy Strike supported, or a Ruthless Strike supported Heavy Strike. So we're ready to go, okay? So I'm just going to follow the lay of the land here. Again, I have my mini-map open. You don't need to have that. You can have it in the upper corner if that makes you feel more comfy. I like it big open, and I'm going to skip all this nonsense. And we're just going to keep on running all the way down here. Running. Kill all these guys if you want. It doesn't matter. Here's our guy, Hillock. We need to kill him. So I'm gonna disable my map. So you can see he does this big wind up, and I'm just gonna try to swing and make sure he misses. Swing, move. Kind of get behind him. Oh, my mana's gone. Here, let me hit 3. Here we go. Oh, okay, now he gets kind of pissed off. He pulls a sword out of his chest, and now he's gonna do the exact same thing, but now he's got a sword. I'm also gonna hit my healing potion, just because I was a little low. And I don't know how hard he hits. Oh, I stunned him. That was good. Stunning. Excellent move there. Gonna hit 3 because I'm only using my skill. I'm not using a default attack. We have plenty of mana. Stunned him again. And one more hit. Boom, there he is. So no matter what you do when you kill that guy, you will level up to level 2. This is why it's important you can just skip everything in the beginning, because you won't get to level 2 by killing everything in this area, but then when you kill him, you get to level 2. So it's all just a matter of things here. So here's all of the items that dropped, and this is everything that dropped. Our item filter is not hiding anything in the beginning here. I'm going to pick up everything, and we have a passive skill point. So I'm going to open this up. We start here, and we can either start here at melee damage and life, or life and armor. Boy, I don't know where to go. I sure wish there was a tool that would tell me. Oh wait, there is. It's Path of Building. And if I go to my level 1 to 17 tree, it tells me that I need to start at the life and armor node. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bring the Path of Building into every level up that I do, but it's important to remember that we're using Path of Building, and we're using the Righteous Fire Juggernaut build guide that I talked about earlier. So I'm going to click here and click Apply. Alternately, I can hold Control and hit click. If I knew this is what I want, I can hold Control and hit click, and it will not ask me to hit Apply Points. Just saves you a click. No big deal. All right, so we're going to go to town. We're going to keep walking up. See this little orange doorway here, we go into Lion's Watch. So I'm going to do a little bit more explanation here, and then we're going to go ahead and end the episode here, since it's already been 20 minutes or so, and we're going to start getting into some real business here after this. So we've got all these new items. Check this out. So we've got this robe that we can't use. It's got a red background. It's got a 2 blue linked situation here, so that's cool. We've got a new club that we can use. It's got 1 blue socket, but we're already using 2 red sockets, so we don't want to use this blue one. If you were curious though, like, let's check out this club. It's got 3, a red, a green, and a blue. If I hold control, what comes up is a little window next to it that shows me my currently equipped item, its stats and what it is, so I can directly compare. If I wanted to use this rusted spike, I can hold control and look how it compares to my driftwood club. And the same with my simple robe. I can hold control and see how it relates to my plate vest. So this is cool. We've got some new items. We can't really use any of them, but we have them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk up, and the last main thing, so we got all these exclamation points. This is episode 2 here, is always talking to all these people, getting our rewards, and moving on with the campaign. I'm going to open up my stash. Now check this out. This is what you're going to see. Well, you're not going to see this. This is from old gameplays. Ignore this, okay? So everything that I do in this playthrough, I'm going to try to keep it as separated as possible. So these are all items I have from my old characters. I've got old currencies in here, like stuff that would really help me out right now even, but I'm not going to do it. I'm playing this like you would be playing this right now, okay? So any items that I get, I'm going to either, if I'm stashing them, I'm going to put them into one of these 1, 2, or 3 blank stashes. Any currency I get, it's going to go into one of these blank stashes, so that it does not get conflated with what I already have on my account, because everything gets shared, so that we're all playing kind of on the same equal playing field, okay? So in the next episode, I'm going to talk about selling these, what that means, and getting into the first quest. Yeah, cool, that's exciting. But for right now, that's it. That's it for today. So I want to thank you for getting this far. Again, hoping that this is a long-running series where we walk through the process of Path of Exile. I want to thank you again for watching. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. If you really enjoyed this, I stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/ChefLethalPlays. But this is a YouTube series, so watch the next episode when it comes out. Please, it helps me out a lot. I gotta work on my ending. But anyway, for real, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Chef Lethal, signing out.